You may be new to homeschooling, or you may have been homeschooling for a little while, but something is just not right in your homeschool. Well, today I want to share with you guys the top 10 things I learned in homeschooling for these past 9 years. Hey guys, it's Bonnie from Mrs. Mom's Homeschool, and welcome to my channel. And if you're new here, I'm a homeschooling mom to 3 children, and I have been homeschooling since 2012. If you're interested in this content, if you like my channel and the videos, please make sure to take a minute to support my channel by hitting that subscribe button. Today I want to share with you guys the top 10 things that I learned throughout my 9 years of homeschooling. Things I wish I knew from the beginning, but you don't get to know these things from the beginning. You learn these things by trial and error. You learn these things by having hardships in your homeschool. You learn these things as you take time to spend with your children and as you fall and fail. So I want to share with you guys some of my tips so that maybe I can make it a little bit easier for some of you guys who have just been homeschooling for a few years, or maybe this is your very first time homeschooling. My first tip is to have a vision for your homeschool from the beginning. What do you envision your homeschool to be like? How exactly do you want to homeschool? So personally, I had no idea. I thought that I was doing school at home at first. Some years I thought I wanted to do fun schooling and just do games and those Thinking Tree fun schooling books. Some years I thought I wanted to do unschooling. Some years I was strict with the schedule. I just changed my mind so many times, and that is okay. It's okay for you to do that. So things didn't change for me until I took some time to write my vision for my homeschool. Excuse my kids in the background. I think they're arguing over popsicles. Just have a vision overall of what you want your homeschool to look like, what you envision every day to look like. Now, granted, your vision will not come true automatically, especially if you're a first-time homeschooler or been homeschooling for 1 to 3 years, because you have little people involved that mess up your vision and don't want to follow your beautiful vision of beautiful homeschooling. So you will need to adjust, and you will also need to give them time to adjust and to get used to it. And then, you know, they eventually will fall into position into your homeschooling vision if you start to make things, if you start to change things gradually and give them time, give your kids time to learn and to grow. And maybe their vision is different than yours. Maybe just applying everybody's vision is what's going to be the best fit for your homeschool. My second tip is to be consistent. So in the beginning, I say like the first 5 years of our homeschool, I was really inconsistent. I jumped around from curriculum to curriculum, which once again, it's okay, because you don't know what type of learners your kids are from the beginning. And even if you think you do know what type of learners they are, they might not like the curriculum. You might not like the curriculum. So you're going to jump around from curriculum for the first few years, and that's okay. But no matter what, be consistent in your homeschooling. I would recommend setting a start time and an end time, a rough end time to your day, to just be consistent, so that during those hours your kids know that it's time to do school, whatever that looks like for you. And your start time could be noon and your end time could be 8 o'clock at night, or your end time could be noon and your start time could be 6 o'clock in the morning. Whatever that looks like for you, just set a routine and be consistent, so that your kids will give you less of a hard time if they know that these are the hours that we are going to be learning or doing learning activities or doing school, whatever it is that your homeschool looks like. My next tip is to keep those early years as fun as possible. Make science fun and engaging, and history, and even like writing and all the subjects that you can think of. Take field trips, go on nature walks. Really take those early years, and I'm talking about like under middle school, all of under middle school, like 5th grade and under. Enjoy those years as much as you can. And if you can enjoy the years up into and through middle school, then God bless you. Make sure you get that done too, and make sure you do that as well. But definitely during the early years, when your kids are just so sweet and they're just so fun and they just want to have a good time all of the time, make sure you just find ways to enjoy your homeschool when they're little. With that being said, my other tip is to don't pile on too many subjects at once. When your kids are little, they don't need to study history and all kinds of science units and things like that, because honestly, they're gonna forget it all. When they're little, focus on subjects that engage them and that keep their interest. Definitely want to be teaching them how to read and do basic math. But as far as the other subjects, even just like handwriting and typing, things like that, they don't really need to learn that until they're a little bit older. Which leads into my next tip, which is keeping science and history curriculum for when they're grades 3 and above. So personally, I've tried to teach history to my kids from kindergarten. They don't remember a thing. They only remember the ancient Egypt things because we never really finished a history curriculum yet. And I have my daughter's in 8th grade. Actually, we did finish one with her. And then so for history for the younger ages, they don't get it. They don't understand a lot of it. It's boring. So I just started teaching history gently to my son who's in 4th grade. And she sits in and gets what she gets from it, but it's not a priority to me for her to learn history. And then science with my little one, what we have been doing, right now she's joining in on our science units with my son, but that's just because we're already doing it. But last year, we were doing all nature studies. We learned about the life cycle. We learned about birds and bugs and leaves and trees, everything just by being outside a lot last year. And that was beautiful, wasn't it? Yeah, that was awesome. Another thing I wish I didn't do my first few years of homeschool was making school so long. I piled on the subjects for my oldest daughter, and she was only 5 and she had like a full day of school because I thought that I had to copy what they did at school. I thought that doing an hour, 2 hours was not enough. And I made school too long and she hated it. She hated homeschool most of her life because I didn't know what I was doing and I was just trying to make sure that I covered everything. So take it easy and relax. You don't have to cover everything right now. You don't have to cram everything into their heads when they're little. You have a lifetime of learning to do with them. So take it easy. Another thing is something that I'm still learning now is stopping them from doing things that they enjoy because it's not part of the curriculum. Matter of fact, this morning I came downstairs and it was time for breakfast and I was almost tempted to stop my kids from doing what they were doing and making them sit down for breakfast until I saw that my son was teaching my daughter how to draw something. There's so many teachable moments. You know, the other day they were laying in the hammock outside and I almost again called them in to come sit down and, you know, do your math worksheets when they were outside singing and making up stories and musicals and bonding together and creating stories. So don't interrupt the things that your kids are doing because just learning and experience and education comes about in so many different ways. And you have to allow them to be creative and express themselves in their own ways as well. And it's okay not to, so this is another tip, is that don't start making faces, okay? You're gonna distract me. It's okay not to finish your curriculum. It's okay not to do your curriculum every single day. Another tip is to teach handwriting properly. Oh my goodness, so we started out with handwriting without tears for my oldest daughter and that worked wonderfully. It actually explained how to properly form your letters and where to start, and her handwriting is great. On the other hand, if you do not teach it properly with using the right curriculum, their handwriting can be super messy. I have a certain child who writes his letters all backwards. So I just said he, so now you know who I'm talking about. Sorry, Aaron. He just writes his letters however he feels like it, and you can tell when he's writing full sentences because you don't know what the heck he's writing. So that's a work in progress. But make sure you teach writing properly from the beginning. I am on top of my kindergartner now, making sure that she starts from the top and everything starts from that magic C. You know, anyway, if you've never done handwriting without tears, you don't know what I'm talking about. Moving on. My last tip is do not attempt to homeschool when you are PMSing or having a bad day or are irritable. Do yourself and those kids that you love so much a favor and do not try to be strict on those days with your homeschool work. Those days that you are feeling irritable and having a bad day are days for educational movies and documentaries. They're days for the kids to play math board games on their own. They are days for YouTube videos. Those are days for them to do any independent work that they can do without calling or needing your help. Those days that you are irritable are like the only days that they will ever remember. They won't remember the field trips or the cool volcano you made or all the fun crafts you did for your human body unit. No, they're gonna remember the day that mommy flipped out on them because they didn't do their math worksheet. And they had to draw a sad face picture because mommy yelled at them because they weren't doing their work. So do yourself a favor and your babies a favor and do not try to homeschool when you are not in a good mood. if you are like this often, then make sure you're taking time for yourself early in the morning to get yourself right. Do some meditation, some prayer. Follow the miracle morning routine that I have set here. This will set an intention for your whole day and help you get off on the right track. But if all of that doesn't work and you're just having one bad day or 2 bad days or maybe a week that's just bad because you know how PMS is, then take it slow down. Don't try to stick to a strict schedule, because those are the days your children are going to misbehave the most. I don't know why this happens, but it is true. All right, guys, well, I really hope that you enjoyed those 10 tips. There were 10 in there, I'm sure of it, maybe even 11. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, you found it useful, make sure to subscribe and like the video. That helps me out a lot, guys. And I will see you guys in the next one.